Hey, thanks for checking out my video. Chris here from Meditations on the Tarot. Today I wanted to talk about herbal alchemy on a budget. I won't get too far into what herbal alchemy is because there's lots of great information, lots of great videos here on YouTube that can explain exactly what herbal alchemy and spagyrics are. I just wanted to talk about different ways that you could get started with your own herbal alchemy and how you could do it on a budget. So the best way to get started is to begin with projects that don't require special equipment, like maybe an alcohol tincture. To do an alcohol tincture, you would need some herbs and a blender and some cheesecloth. And it's like you don't even need that. If you don't have a blender, you could use a mortar and pestle. If you don't have a mortar and pestle, you could use some scissors and just cut your herbs up really small. If you don't have a cheesecloth, then you could use a jar and a rubber band and a coffee filter. So doing these things on a budget, sometimes you kind of have to think outside of a box and come up with ways where you can save money and you can still practice some herbal alchemy that you want to do. So we live in the age of information, and it's a good time to live if you want to gain knowledge for free. You know, back in the day, you might have to chase down this or that at the library, but these days the information's right there and it's right at your fingertips. So probably the best way to learn about herbal alchemy is YouTube. And another great way to learn about herbal alchemy would be the library. And the library system where I live has an app, so you can use keywords. You can search for herbal alchemy. You can search for the word spagyrics. And once you find books that you think might fall into those categories, you can have them sent to your local library. So you know, you're not spending any gas money going back and forth, and not spending any time, really. And also, the bigger libraries, the Portland Central Library has a massive room, and that room is just periodicals, just magazines, and there's a lot of great magazines that could be helpful to you getting started with herbal alchemy. A good magazine to read is a Herb Quarterly, and my local library has this going back for like 30 years. I think it's 5 or 10 cents to photocopy pages out of here, and so any articles or any recipes that you find in here, you can just copy them at your local library for, you know, next to nothing. Another good magazine I would recommend is Rosicrucian Digest. So they have a lot of articles about alchemy. This entire issue is devoted to the subject of alchemy. And this is completely free. You can pick this up at a local AMORC meeting, and you could also you could go to amorc.org and they have this available for free. You could also Google search Rosicrucian Digest PDF, and all these are available to read for free and in paper for free. So that's a really valuable resource that you can use, and a good way to stay on a budget with your herbal alchemy. And another way to get yourself some information about herbal alchemy is books, of course. You'll find a lot of information in books that you won't find in YouTube. And so you can check out some books from the library. I checked this out from the library. This is the Herbal Alchemist Handbook by Karen Harrison. The subtitle is A Grimoire of Filtres, Elixirs, Oils, Incense, and Formulas for Ritual Use. So this is a really great book, and again, it didn't cost me anything. I just borrowed it from the library. This is called Herbs in Magic and Alchemy, Techniques from Ancient Herbal Lore. This is by C.L. Zalewski, and she was involved with the Golden Dawn, and so she knows a lot about herbs and magic, and also she knows a lot about herbal alchemy. This is an extremely important book. It really goes over all the different correspondences. This is a great book. It doesn't go over the correspondences so much as it goes through the process of making these different elixirs, and it goes through the process of distillation in a lot of detail that this book, Herbs in Magic and Alchemy, doesn't. So these two go really great together. So this is called Spagyrics, The Alchemical Preparation of Medicinal Essences, Tinctures, and Elixirs by Manfred M. Junius. So this book is $20, and I would suggest that you spend the $20 and actually buy that book. I think that's a really important, valuable book. You might be able to find it used on eBay or at a local bookstore, but well worth the $20 that you would spend for that. It's important to find books that are really targeted to what it is that you want to learn, so that you're not spending $10 and $8 and $5 on this book, that book, and this book that don't have a whole lot of information, when you could spend $20 on a book that can pretty much explain everything that you're going to need to know as far as physically getting started with projects in herbal alchemy. So a great way to get started would be to collect your chemistry pieces one piece at a time. So this was my first piece here. This was a gift from my friend Sean, and he picked this up at a vintage store here in Portland. That he'd seen some of this stuff, and I told him that I was interested, and he picked that up for me. I think it was a birthday gift, so it just, and I was able to get some tinctures started. I was able to get some lavender oils going, and I was able to do it with just one piece. So you can collect pieces one at a time. You don't have to be overwhelmed about the prices that are involved. If you collect pieces one at a time, you can check out secondhand stores, you can check out thrift stores, garage sales. You're going to need a lot of glassware, extra jars to keep your tinctures in and stuff. A great place is the dollar store. You can get a lot of these bottles here, like this bottle here with a clasp top. Just $1 is a really good price for that, and you're going to need a lot of jars and stuff to keep your different liquids in. And you may also want to ask your friends, hey, do you have any extra mason jars? If you got any extra this or that. And you can even post on social media, hey, I'm interested in herbal alchemy. I'm looking for any extra jars you might have. If you have a friend that's got an old chemistry set, I'd love to have it. And you might be surprised at what comes up. An important thing, it would be like developing relationships with people. So there's a local antique store, and I've kind of developed a relationship with them where I've been a good customer and been really friendly, and they've been really friendly back, and it's been really nice. And so I went in there and I bought some of these vials with corks in them there, and you can pick up some Pyrex glassware at the antique stores. This got some liquid mercury in it, but that's a great place. I think this was like $3, so that's a great price for a little piece of Pyrex. And again, that stuff's like maybe $20 on eBay. A cheaper way to go would be these antique stores and secondhand stores. And so I developed a relationship with my local antique store, and I just brought in some diagrams from the Spagyrics book, and I just showed them what I was looking for. I was looking for a still head, and I was looking for a distillation chamber, and I showed them some pictures. And the great thing about antique stores is that they network with other people. They know other dealers, they know people that own other antique stores, and they go and they're always purchasing new stuff. And so if you be real specific and let them know what it is that you want, then they can find it for you oftentimes. And the great thing about antique stores is that they're willing to trade. So, if you got an old vintage lunchbox, you got some old records, some old silver coins, you can put that stuff in a box, and the antique store will be willing to trade you, your old junk for stuff that you can use for your herbal alchemy project. So that's a great way to save money. You can find stuff at a good price, but it's even a better price if you can get it for free, if you can trade some old stuff for it. And so being good to friends and neighbors, it always pays off. And we don't be good to people in the hope that we get a reward. You just be good for your own self. You want to have good interactions with people. You want to have good relationships with people. And the best way to do that is to just be kind and be friendly toward each other. So I have a friend, Todd. We've been friends for years, and he has a whole lot of friends, that's a completely different set of friends than my set of friends, right? And one of his friends was driving down the highway one day, and he sees this great big box in the middle of the freeway. So he pulled over, he turned around and he pulled over, and he opened up this, he grabbed this box and he picked it up and he took it home. And inside of that box was this distillation set here. Not sure how well you can see that. Inside that box was this beautiful distillation set, you know. And he didn't really know what it was. You know, he thought, oh, it's a chemistry set of some kind, and he was willing to get rid of the set, you know, with the box that it came in for like $100. And what's great is, I mean, and $100 would be a great price for that setup. But the great thing is, I had an old ukulele, and I told my friend Todd, you know, hey, let me trade you this old ukulele I have, you know, and I would like to trade you for that chemistry set that you bought off your friend for $100. And he was super excited to trade me the ukulele. I wasn't playing it, so again, like that's taking something I wasn't using, right, and getting something that I can use, and again, that's free. So sometimes when we think outside the box, you know, and being good to friends and being good to your neighbors, it always pays off. And it's this act of asking for specific items, and that's going to let the universe know what you want. You know, if you write something down, right, the universe wants to give us what we want, right? And when we manifest our own reality, okay? So if there's something that you want in life, if you write it down, if you physically say it, you know, with your mouth, you tell your friends, I really hope that I can get a distillation set, right? Then these things will come into your life, and you'd be surprised at how you can do this just, you know, for nothing if you just play your cards right and think about ways that you can do these things on a budget. And the universe wants to give us what we want, you know, and so we have to be specific. You know, I went down to the local antique store, and I told them specifically what I was looking for: a distillation chamber and a still head. And though it didn't come from the people that I'd specifically asked to get it for me, it came in another way. So if we're specific about what we want, if we write it down, if we say it out loud, if you post it on social media, these things will find a way to make it to you, because the universe really wants to give us what we want. So once I got this distillation set up here, I needed some pieces to make it work, right? And again, instead of just going out and spending a ton of money, I thought about what I could do to do my herbal alchemy projects on a budget. One of the pieces that I needed was a submersible pump. This is my submersible pump here, and that's like for a fish tank. And so I went to the local pet store, and I'm looking at submersible pumps. The one on the shelf was like $100, and I went and found the guy that works there. And again, I've developed a good relationship with him over the years, you know, buying pet food for my dog. And he was able to find me a used submersible pump. I think it was $10 or $15. So again, you could save a ton of money by just talking to people, you know, and developing these relationships with people. I also needed a thermometer. I was able to pick up this digital thermometer. I think it was like $5. You can get these at the pet store. And this just plugs into the top right here, and this piece was already made for it. So again, that's, you know, I also picked up just a standard, just a regular thermometer, and you know, and this is like $1 at the dollar store. So you don't have to spend a ton of money on this stuff. Another thing I needed to get my distillation setup going was some tubing, so I could pump some cold water in and out of this chamber here. And so I went to the local Ace Hardware. They had some tubing. It was 25 cents a foot. And when you look at the website from this Steamroller Extractions, the company that makes this, the tubing they want to sell you is $40 plus maybe another 10 or 15 in shipping. So, you know, $55. And here, this is less than $3 worth of tubing. It doesn't have to be sterile tubing, because this is just cold water that cools down this steam here, and it doesn't actually touch the steam. So, you know, you don't need a $40 hose. You can get you know, $2.50 at the local Ace Hardware. And you can just take one of your fittings with you and have them match the size. Again, a lot of these things when they set these distillation setups up, they have these little stands where it's like a base, and then it's like a little metal rod that keeps this thing standing up. And I haven't been able to get a metal rod yet, so in the meantime I just use a piece of string, and that'll keep this, you know, from falling over. If somebody accidentally bumps it, it's not going to go flying all over the kitchen here. It's just going to stay right where it is, and that's a piece of string. And you know, a piece of string is free. I already had a piece of string. You know, another thing is that I needed some caps for this, and so this is a cap for a vacuum system on a car. This was $1 at the local automotive store, and it just plugs right on there. And again, the cap from the manufacturer was maybe $15, $20, and plus shipping. And again, this is $1 at the local automotive store. And again, I just walked there. There wasn't any gas money involved, so that's a great way that you can save money. If you want to set up a savings fund for your Herbal Alchemy, you could get a bucket or a jar and just write Herbal Alchemy, throw in your spare change, and that money will add up. If you write a list of the things that you want, and you can even rearrange your list into the order that you want it, then you'll be able to purchase things, you know, that you need for your projects. So to do Herbal Alchemy, you're going to need some herbs, right? And you can go to your local wilderness areas, but it is a good idea to get off the trail at least a few feet. That way you'll avoid any Roundup or urine or exhaust or whatever. The side of the road, you know, may have a lot of great plants and stuff, but those are going to be covered in exhaust. So if you're picking herbs off the side of the road, you want to get a little bit off the side of the road. Or if you're picking herbs in your local wilderness area, you want to get a little bit off the trail so that you're not getting stuff with herbicide and urine in it, right? That's not the best herbs there. And again, if you need to get some herbs, you know, you can ask your friends. You could post on social media. Does anybody have any herbs in their garden that they'd be willing to donate? You could offer to give them, you know, a little bottle out of your batch of tincture when you get it finished. If they'd be willing to give you some herbs, you know, work on this barter system. So, you know, check in with your friends. You can also check in with people that there's plenty of community gardens where they're growing these different herbs, and they're more than happy to give you some, and especially if you offer to give them a little bottle of the tincture once you get it finished. You can buy herbs in bulk at the local grocery store. So if you just need some bay leaves, you can take a handful. Buy just what you need for your project. I think the best way to get your herbs is to grow your own. That way you know that they've been grown in organic soil, they haven't been exposed to pesticides, and you know, artificial fertilizers and stuff. The best herbs that you can get would be organically grown herbs. So you can grow your own herbs, and I think that seeds are a better option than starts. If it's late in the season, then maybe starts is the best way to go. Or if it's late in the season and you want to get maybe a window tray inside where you've got some herbs, then maybe starts would be the way to go. But when you buy seeds, it's usually cheaper. So like a pack of seeds is $2, and starts are more like $3 to $5. So and then that's for one plant, whereas a pack of seeds is going to produce at least 20 plants. So you're going to get a lot more yield. And again, you could ask your friends, hey, can I trade you some of the herbs that I have growing in my garden for some of the herbs that you have growing in your garden? Another good place to check would be like your discount grocery store. They get in a lot of, you know, plants that are kind of on the edge, and they're plants that you could salvage, and you can, again, these are people that you can build a relationship with. And a lot of times you build a good relationship with these people, and they've got some half-dead plants, they'll just give them to you, you know. Again, that's free. A dollar store is a great place to check for seeds as well. You know, you can get your glassware there, mason jars, but the dollar store is a great place in the springtime. You can look for seeds there. I found packages of seeds at the local Dollar Tree, and they were 5 for $1. So if you work that out, that's, I think, 20 cents a package. That's 10% of retail. So a pack of seeds at the regular grocery store is going to be $2. or $2 to $3, and at the Dollar Tree, at the dollar store, I was able to find 5 packages of seeds for $1, and they were the same seeds that you buy at the store. So that's a great way that you can save money. Another thing you're going to need besides herbs would probably be some alcohols. So I have a friend who makes wine, and alcohol is very easy to distill from wine itself. So I have a friend that makes wine, and he just donated me a bottle of some cherry wine that he'd made. And as he makes different wines, then he's willing to barter with me, where he'll give me a bottle of wine, and I'll give him a little bottle of whatever tincture that I make, and I can even take special requests too that way. And any plant will yield alcohol. You can use fermentation to yield alcohol from any plant, right? So you can watch videos here on YouTube about the fermentation process, and if you don't want to buy wine or trade for some wine, you could make your own wine pretty easily. And so you can go to the local liquor store. You don't have to have the very best wine. If a big bottle, or the very best alcohol, if a big bottle is too much money, you can consider doing smaller batches where you can just buy a pint of some vodka or whiskey, for pretty cheap, and just consider doing it in small batches. A friend gave me a gift certificate to McMinimans, and I was able to pick this up. This is a White Owl whiskey, and this is 49.3%, but we can distill this down to 100% using my distillation setup here. And again, so that was free. It would have been $15. It's locally made, and it's good to have some alcohols for your different tinctures. So again, coming up with funds to do your herbal alchemy on a budget, but coming up with money, consider selling some old books. You got an old bicycle, consider selling some comic books. If you got a box full of comic books that you've already read, you're not going to read them again, take them to the local comic book shop, and they'll give you cash, and you can use that cash somewhere else to pick up the pieces that you need. And another great way to get funds together would be to have a garage sale. It's always good to just go through your house and get rid of some of that stuff, and get rid of stuff that you're not using, and try and pick up some things that you can use, right, for your herbal alchemy projects. So I just wanted to say it's a really great idea to be specific so that the universe hears you. We manifest our own reality, we manifest our own destiny. So if we be specific with the universe and tell the universe what it is that we want, very specific items for our herbal alchemy projects, the universe wants to provide those things for us, and the universe will provide those things for us. And again, it's key to be good to people and to develop relationships with people. And it's important to have patience, right? That these things will come over time. And I've been watching a lot of videos about distillation, and I just wanted a distillation setup so bad, but I knew it was really expensive, and instead of jumping the gun and spending hundreds of dollars on a distillation setup, I just put it out there to the universe. I put it out to my friends, social media, the local stores, that this is what I wanted, and I was able to come up with what I wanted. So again, it's about being good to people, developing relationships with people, and have some patience, so that give it time so that these things can come into your life. And the important part is that you be specific about what you want in life, so that the universe can hear you and can give you what you want. That's what it's there for. So these are some ideas where you can do your herbal alchemy projects on a budget. It's a great idea. Again, Spagyrics book. It's a good idea to get yourself like a journal or a logbook that you can keep your own notes in, because the best book about herbal alchemy is the book that you write about herbal alchemy, where you can take all the videos that you've seen and just write some notes, and you can use this as reference as you're going through your different projects. So thanks for taking the time to watch my video. I appreciate it. If you like the video, please hit the thumbs up button, If you want to like, share, and subscribe, that'd be awesome. Peace profound, and L.V.X.